We up, gentlemen. We live.
What's happening?
All right, give me just a second here. Gentlemen, how are you doing this evening?
Man, pretty good. It's been a busy week already, and it's only Monday.
Same here, man.
Yeah, I got a couple of new clients. That doesn't typically happen in December, but I picked up 2 new clients in the last week. So, things are looking up. Ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sorry to do this here, but if you're looking for a consultation with me, don't wait till after the first of the year. You will have a hard time getting a hold of me, okay? Try to get a hold of me sometime before Christmas, between the week between Christmas and New Year's, but I'm filling up fast, guys.
That's what's up, Johnny. Shout out to you. And, I got to say, I've had some people who watch us on my Facebook, and I've had people ask me about the Johnny Dumbbell workouts, and I tell them, dog, I do these workouts myself. Look, I mean, You guys can't tell me on this. You can't tell from this webcam, but I'm a big dude. And these workouts that Johnny Dumbbell puts together really push me sometimes. But, hey, I keep doing them, man. I like the at-home workouts, Johnny. Keep making
Thanks,
them
man.
videos.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed, man. And that's one of those things that we try to do. Sometimes we don't have a whole hour and a half for a workout. The workouts that I instruct you on these, as Bill was saying, they take you 30, 35 minutes, 40 tops, depending on how many rounds you're able to get through. But that's the whole challenge. Want to know more? You know where to find me.
All right. So, gentlemen, tonight we're talking about decoding mixed signals and, overcoming rejection, because they kind of go hand in hand a little. Absolutely. Now, I got to say, I am very fortunate because back in 2008, I found myself a mentor that taught me about how to gauge women's indicators of interest. So I've been able to decode mixed signals most of my adult life. Shout out to Johnny Dumbbell, by the way.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. That's one thing I've got to say. I've been blessed in the department of, knowing the way of the ladies, man, when it comes to body language and signals, man. Some guys just do not grasp that. Yep. They can't read it. It's like, they weren't taught how to read words, from a book. Same thing.
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of different kind of mixed signals. Okay, it could be saying that like when a woman says she wants to be exclusive, but then you see her flirting with other people. Or it could be something like she initiates the physical contact, but then starts to pull away when things get intimate. So, gentlemen, there's a lot of different mixed signals, but I think a lot of it comes down to one thing: whether she's into you or not. And like I was just saying with Johnny, in these indicators of interest, being able to gauge them accurately is essential. And okay, gentlemen, I'm trying to water this down a little bit, because here's what I do. I put myself in situations where I'm going to force a woman to show her hand. She's either going to do something,
show or lay them out.
Her behavior. It's all based on her behavior, because that's going to be one of the indicators of her interest to me. And we talk about this almost every time we talk about dating. One of the things I'm looking for is a woman to meet me when and where I'm trying to meet her, not change the date up. Like, hey, if I'm like, hey, meet me for drinks at Friday at 7, something Johnny says, the only thing that should be negotiable is the date and time, not the drinks. If she tries
not only that,
go ahead,
Johnny. Not only that, but you're going to be able to gauge her interest based on her answer to that question as well. Because if you say, hey, can we get together Wednesday at 7? And she says, ooh, I'm busy Wednesday at 7. Get a hold of me this weekend. First of all, she didn't give you a specific time. She didn't give you a specific day. She didn't make any kind of counteroffer whatsoever. that is not a counteroffer. That is a weak F off response. All right. So in this particular case, if she's not available Wednesday at 7, the next thing she should be telling you, if she's interested, is when she is available. Ooh, hey, can't do Wednesday at 7. I can do Thursday at 6.
And now, let me add to what I said a few minutes ago. There's a difference between being able to read signals and be able to read body language. Sometimes those can be two different things. A signal that she's sending you can come through a text, or when you're talking to her on the phone, the way her voice sounds. Body language is something that you're going to see, when she's there with you. You're going to feel it, the friction, you know what I mean? There's a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah, and the biggest mistake you can make is putting what she says above what she does. When she says, and gentlemen, I know that what you want to believe is what she says, because it's often a lot nicer than what she does. And so it's very tempting to believe that. But remember, actions speak volumes. Words just speak sentences.
TK, I'm glad you mentioned that there's a difference between mixed signals and body language, because I've personally been in situations where I could tell a woman was clearly into me. Reading that body language, she is physically attracted to me. However, being able to read the room, I could tell that she was with her boyfriend's sister at the time. And if I would have tried initiate any kind of contact with her, boyfriend's sister would have stepped in or would have went off and told boyfriend. So you're right, TK, being able to decipher the difference between the two is essential if you're going to be successful, in your dating experiences.
Yeah,
definitely.
When we talked about,
and let me hold on one second though. Let me explain something. Now, the definition in my book of mixed signals is when, say, you're at a party like you're talking about, and she's telling you one thing, but her body language is saying another thing. Now, in my book, that's considered mixed signals. You know what I mean? So, gentlemen, this is what we're trying to teach you. How to decipher. You always want to go with the body language and what her body is telling you. In my book, that's the direction that I head. You know what I mean? Because a chick can fucking say anything. Anybody can say anything they want to, but her body and the way it's reacting to you doesn't lie.
Correct.
Well, your physical presence should always have an impact on her. She should be honored to be in your presence and just having access to you and being around you, being able to wrap her arms around you, stuff like that. But
yeah,
right. But that's going to come later on down the road. Right now, we're trying to school these fellows on how to read those signals to get to that point. You know what I mean? Because like I just said a minute ago, a female can be telling you one thing and her body can be saying a complete different thing,
Well, you do have to consider the context. You are right. But I think it's essential that these young men keep open communication with these women, especially when it comes to their intentions and what they're trying to do with them, dog.
Right.
And look, a lot of times mixed signals from a female and you reading them the wrong way can get you rejected. Yeah, you know what I mean? And so here's the topic of the conversation, fellas. You know what I mean? If you can't read the mixed signals that the female's sending you, then more than likely you're going to end up getting rejected. And then, how to handle that is a whole different story. That's another ball game. We'll talk about another time. But
well, actually, I think that's part of tonight's, isn't it?
Well,
I mean, hey, whatever,
When we talk about overcoming rejection and mixed signals, I think it's important to mention something Johnny Dumbbell talks about a lot is females shit testing men. Now,
not that makes them bad.
We're not getting into us personally because I've already said I don't really experience this with women, but Johnny has went over this with me at great lengths in detail. So I think part of it part of that rejection comes from these guys failing the shit test, not being able to read these mixed signals, because if she's not giving me 100% cooperation, I'm not just backing away, dog. I'm done. So, and I think,
Man, you know what, man? Hey, look, I like the sport, bro. If she's not gonna be a little bit feisty, man, you know what I mean? And I don't want her to act like I conked her over the fucking head with a club. You know what I mean? And just submit to everything. I mean, I want her to have a little bit of fire about her. You know.
It's
luckily,
funny.
Luckily, there's plenty of old gals like that down in West by God.
It's funny you say that, club her over the head, TK, because I often say bite her on the neck and drag her up a tree. When I introduce her to the man that's going to change her life, and I step to her and give her my phone number. So I understand what you're saying, but look, and I'm not trying to be Johnny Dumbbell's cheerleader tonight. I know we've been on for 10 minutes, and I give him my dude 3 or 4 shout outs.
Hey, man,
but
I love you anyway.
I would be remiss in my duties in showing these young men tough love if I don't bring up the fact about Johnny is the one on his panel who is always talking about setting boundaries. And if you're going to talk about how to combat these mixed signals that you get from these women, dog, setting boundaries has to be one of your top priorities.
Huge. And when she violates those boundaries and it's that early on, you don't even have to say, hey, you violated a boundary of mine. No, the thing of it is that at that point you move on and you don't even necessarily have to say a thing. She's not going to lose sleep over it, and neither will you, as long as you establish and enforce those boundaries early, often, and more importantly, consistent.
And look, gentlemen out there, this is what this panel is for. You guys have a story, man, where you read a girl's signals wrong or, got rejected, and we all have. You maybe want to know what you could have done right or, could have done different. Give us a call, man. The Skype number's there. Hit us up.
Sorry. We got the
and
Skype
if we make you not even want to date ever again, call us then too.
Hey, shout out to Tanya.
Love you, Tanya.
All right,
like,
now
the guy said my name.
Look, gentlemen. So when it comes to mixed signals, I think you really need to directly talk to these women about what they're looking for. And a lot of guys don't know this. They don't know that they need to be open and honest. And, we see guys that try to slide in, as friends all the time, or try to change their interest and morph into something that the woman's into because they think that commonality is going to get them a good starting point. And they make these rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
And they don't know how to effectively communicate with these women, and they causing these mixed signals to begin with, because
they came in with a mixed signals.
So if this is something that's happening over and over to you gotta understand that you're probably the problem and you're the reason you're getting mixed signals, and a lot of it probably has to do with the way you're communicating with women.
Well, look, and it falls.
Go ahead, Johnny.
Sorry, and it falls under the whole principle, and TK's famous for this phrase: you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. And in these situations now, if you come in with mixed signals, you're going to get mixed signals. So here's the thing: you came in fake, and look, whether a woman realizes overtly that you're being fake, her subconscious, her instinct's going to kick in. This person doesn't seem genuine. That ingenuine side of her is going to come out. So now you're not fighting fire with fire. You're fighting disingenuity. Or what is it? Disingenuous intentions with other disingenuous intentions. And now you've created this whole toxic cesspool before you've even learned each other's middle names.
And look, I'll tell you fellas this.
I can't read that.
I'll tell you fellas this. If you've always done or if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten.
Oh, hey, Bill. Randy here says he can't see the Skype number.
All right. Give me just a second here.
It's
Thanks, Randy. Appreciate you, man. Hey, man, by the way, good to see you, Randy.
Yeah, appreciate
It's
you
up
stopping by.
online,
Yeah, man.
Appreciate the comments.
Hey, we realize you could be spending your Monday night watching the football game, and instead you're hanging with us, and we appreciate that, man.
So listen, I'm going to say this again one more time, all right? If you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always gotten.
Yep.
All right?
Nothing changes if nothing changes.
Gentlemen, think about that.
Johnny, I was just about to say that. It reminds me of ancient Roman philosopher Jonius Dumbellius, who is famous for saying, "If nothing changes, then nothing changes."
That's the second most popular. That's the second most popular Roman phrase in history. The most popular is, "Hey, forget about it."
Here's another one. Hey, here's another bomb I'll drop on you. Don't let a moment outweigh a movement.
Oh, dear God. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
Yeah.
you know, I'm not a big person. You know, I mean, I know I have a lot of phrases, a lot of sayings. I try to be clever about them. I'm not big on the rhyming and I'm not big on the alliteration, but my God, that is true. You know, and that's just it. That's absolutely true.
If you don't change things up, man, and you don't do things differently and try different things, man, things are not gonna fucking change for you. It's as simple as that. Whether it's on the dating scene with females, whether it's how you conduct yourself in every day-to-day life, no matter what, it's your career, whatever the case.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, if you don't change things up, man, you're just gonna be in the same rut all the time, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now,
like we always say, like we said last episode, you know, if you're lost in the forest and see the same tree twice, you're lost.
Look, I'll put it to you in West Virginia terms. You don't get yourself out of the mud hole if you don't shift into 4-wheel drive. You hear me?
That goal from West by God, baby. I'm not a Pitt fan, so be happy about that.
Now, gentlemen, I gotta say, I think teaching people how to decode mixed messages is somewhat of a waste of time, because if you're getting mixed messages from a woman, I think, okay, as a man,
She's
you
not
should
really
be
too much worth your time anyways.
What's that?
I said she's not really too much worth your time anyways if she's giving you mixed signals all the time. You know what I mean? She obviously doesn't know what she wants.
Well, I think most young men have a hard time deciphering whether or not she's even doing that. And here's the thing, guys.
Yeah.
I know that people tell you all the time, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't be too quick to judge. But there's a thing called your gut feeling. And you need to start listening to it as early in life as possible. And
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and I'm gonna bring you gentlemen, I'm gonna bring you younger, inexperienced gentlemen in on the ground floor here by saying this. Watch her actions, and when you see her do a certain thing that confuses you, ask yourself if you think that's the act of someone who is interested or someone who is not interested. Does someone who is interested, you know, get back to you after she's 45 minutes late to a date that you guys arranged? I know I feel like that's an extreme case, but ask yourself that. You know, if someone doesn't,
Well, look,
you know, yeah.
It's almost hard to believe that there are some guys out there who can't tell if a girl wants them or not. Because, man, anytime that a female has ever came at me or sent me signals, they were clear enough for me to say, hey, you know what I mean? This chick's down. Like,
well,
I mean, when a girl's down for you, dude, and she wants you, she's down. You know it. You know what I mean? You can tell. I mean, it's hard to believe that some guys can't, but they are out there.
Yeah, and you know, building on that, here's the thing that I want gentlemen to remember is that when you actually see that she's into you, when you have that gut feeling that she's into you, even if she hasn't said that she's into you, allow yourself to trust yourself. The worst you could do is be wrong. And when you are, and you will be sometimes, You will be sometimes, but when you are, you make that mental note. You remember that for the future. You don't keep seeing that same tree in the forest. Make sure that you're paying attention to those cues and paying attention to the things that you read correctly. And more importantly, pay attention to those things that you read incorrectly and know how to respond to those in the future.
Well, look, I'm going to drop a little bit of knowledge on you whippersnappers. If you get rejected, fellas, more than likely 9 times out of 10, you're not going to do that same dumb shit over again. You know what I mean? Because you're not going to want to feel that way again. You're not going to want to get rejected again. So you're going to straighten your shit up real quick. You know what I mean? And tighten your game up and get a little bit better at what you're doing.
Now,
and if you don't, what's wrong with you? Yeah.
Before we shift gears and we get into overcoming rejection, I want to talk a little bit about these confusing behaviors by women and how you guys are not able to observe these patterns, because it doesn't happen just one time. It'll happen again and again. And it may happen to the point where she is so turned off by you and how you're reacting to the situation that it becomes a situation where you need to overcome rejection, because that happens to a lot of guys. Like, women will start out physically attracted to a man, and then they do so much weird and weak shit that it turns the women off. And
right out of it.
They're getting rejected. Like, they had half a chance and they ended up getting rejected because they made the wrong moves.
And gentlemen, if you work in sales and you've ever talked yourself out of a sale, this is exactly what Bill is talking about on a personal level, not professional. Number 2, if you are a successful salesman, I don't know what you're doing watching this. You should be using those same tactics and skills and soft skills and hard skills to get out there and find the best match you can get. Okay? Because the dating world and the sales world, the only difference between the two is the emotion behind it. You'll have heart behind either one, but it's going to be a different kind of love, I'm telling you. But the process, it's not exactly the same, but it's extremely similar. Similar enough that if you apply the skills that you have professionally to this particular, arena of your life, you're going to be surprised at how much more successful you'll be than you ever thought.
Well, I think being able.
Is your Skype ringing? Randy said he tried to call in, but it's just ringing.
All right, hold on. Maybe I'm a little bit busy with the stream. My bad.
I got everything on
silent. He didn't know if there was something wrong, or you just didn't have a chance to answer.
All right, caller, you're on with the Three Wise Men. What's your name and where you calling from?
Randy. Good one. West by God.
All right.
What can we help you out with tonight, Randy?
Every day I need help.
Yeah, don't we all?
So, Randy, I remember you from a few weeks ago. You were talking about how you think with the big head and not the little one, and I think it had been a while since you had.
That's been a couple weeks now. It's been almost 18 months, so I think my little head's starting to think again.
All right. So,
as long as it's thinking wisely, yes.
Well, okay. Don't think.
Got to be up with the wise men.
Okay, you're with
all
the
right.
Wise men, that's right. So you're going to learn a vetting process, and you're not going to be led by your libido any longer. Now you're going to be led by your principles and standards. So it's a great chapter in your life, Randy. We're going to teach you a lot of stuff.
Right on.
Now, one of the things that we would like to show you is you got to get more comfortable approaching women, because if it's been a year and a half, you're probably waiting for clear indication that a woman is into you before you even step to her. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, let me say this, and I'm sure TK can back up. We are in Philippi. Like, there's more deer running around than women,
Okay. So
are they does or?
let me ask you this, Randy. You go to Clarksburg, right? You go to bigger cities.
It's been a minute. Clarksburg just it's went to hell.
Okay. So have you tried online dating?
You know what? Listen, when POF and all that started to come out, like what, 10 years ago, whatever, man, I was losing more women than I could keep track of. Right? I'm signed up on them now. I ain't had one bite, so I don't know what's going on.
Randy, don't worry about it, man. I'll tell you one thing, that ever since the pandemic,
on Bumble,
online dating has changed
I ain't
drastically.
got no bites, no nothing.
All right, so you do got a Bumble profile?
Yeah.
Let's start with that. Can you open up your Bumble profile? I'd like to see what you got as your bio in there.
Yeah, man, we're not going to put it publicly. We would like to read.
Yeah, if you just read it to us, what we're going to do is we're going to tell you.
And listen, yeah.
We're going to help you with it. We're going to help you change it around and make it a little more appealing. And then TK's going to work with you and help you get some better pictures for it.
While you're looking at that, Randy,
I don't have no pics. I ain't got many pics up.
Oh, well, that's half the problem.
That's more than half the problem. Yeah.
Like you have to have pictures up that make you look physically appealing to women.
Let me ask you, Randy, what do you do for a living?
I need to work out, bro. Yeah. Look at my Facebook.
Say that one more time, sir.
I said, look at my Facebook pictures.
Oh, gotcha.
All right. Well, I'm not too concerned.
I got it. I'm on it.
Just letting you know that you got to get some good pictures up and a solid bio. Here's what you got to do, Randy. You got to present yourself like you're going to give this woman an experience that she can't find. You want to take her to Randyville, and you're the only one that can take her there. So
Randyland.
Oh, Randyland. There you go.
We have a place called that here in Pittsburgh, by the way. It's a really cool place.
You got to get her so excited to go to Randyland that she is chomping at the bit, that she is so wet just thinking about it. So we should spend some time working on your Bumble and turn it into Randyland, brother.
Randy, I'm checking out your Facebook, man. You got a lot of personality here, man. I like it. I like that you make, your photos. I like that you make a lot of your statuses about you, and that's nice. You don't want to be molding yourself for somebody else. You're showing people who you are, and they mold around you. That's step one, man. That's a tough one. I like it.
Well, and I like to be up to date. I don't want to use old pictures and then be like, well, this is, and then we meet and they'll be like, well, you must have used to work out.
Well, and the nice thing is your posts are genuine things. I'm not seeing a whole lot of bullshit inspirational quotes. I mean, one here and there is great, but I mean, it's nice to see that it's not every post of yours. You got some silly stuff here. You got some funny stuff. I like it a lot. You show you show like a comical side of yourself. You show a serious side of yourself. That's awesome. I like that you have that mixture.
Now, I've never used Plenty of Fish.
I'm going to request you, by the way.
I've never used Plenty of Fish myself, but I have heard from speaking with other people that when you're on Plenty of Fish, they can go right to your Facebook and check out your Facebook. So it actually is kind of important, some of the stuff you have on there.
You can do that with an image
like that you're trying to pull from. I would suggest using Bumble or Hinge, even if you're not having a lot of success with Bumble. Maybe try Hinge, but it's certain things in your profile that, like I said, you got to let the woman know just by reading it that she's going to have a pleasurable, memorable experience the time that she has with you, Randy.
Right.
So what's some of the stuff we talk a lot about having standards. So have you established any kind of standards for your dating life?
Must have peace.
Must have peace.
I mean, you're in West Virginia, man.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you to expand on that a little bit, Randy, because I think it's important that since you haven't been dating for the last year and a half, that we try to keep you away from bottom of the barrel bitches. Okay.
Oh,
You're going to have a hard enough time with women who want to finesse you and fleece you and ask you for help and rides and need stuff from you. So I think that it's important that you establish a standard for yourself that you're not going to date any women who are unemployed. If she don't have a job, she don't get a pass to Randy Land.
nope.
So that's you, and it don't matter how good she looks, what her situation is. She could
Because
be
somewhere some guy is sitting around sick of her shit.
well. I'm saying you don't want to get into a situation where you're giving this woman a pass on her looks and you're trying to be understanding to her situation. And no, because you're going to set yourself up to fail. Now, by having a standard that you're not messing with a woman that doesn't have a job, what that's going to do for you is you won't be messing with broke women. You'll start to have interactions with women who want to do stuff for you. Have you had that, Randy? Have you had a woman, you go out with a woman and then you go to pay and she says, "Hey, no, don't. I got that."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
Okay. So what happened to that one?
Well, I did this thing when I was on the dating site last time. Women were paying for the meals and driving and picking me up.
Okay, good. That's
Cool.
how it should be. Honestly.
I mean, because I lost women that way, but because they're like, "Oh no, the men should always pay," and I was like, "Why? Who made that rule?"
And you should be happy you lost that one.
All right. Well, Randy, here's how I usually do it. If I offer the date, I'm going to cover that. I'm going to pay. But if at some point, she's going to want some of my time, I'm going to be very busy. She's going to ask me out on a date. And at that time, I'm going to expect her to pay. Shout out to KZAG, hashtag her debit card works too.
Yep.
I would still offer. I would still be the gentleman, even though I asked her out, offer to pay. But in the back of my mind, I'd probably be thinking, you know what I mean? It'd be nice if you reach for a check every once in a while. It's nice when a chick does that, man. You know what I mean?
I mean, I would say, yeah, pay attention to how much she orders. Yeah.
Nice.
Look, females always go on about equality. They want to be equal to guys. They can do the same thing, you know what I mean, and everything else. And I don't doubt that for a second. But if they want to be equal, then they need to be equal. It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? And everything.
Yeah, I mean,
if that's the way they think, and they think that they're equal or they want to be equal, then they should try to be equal in everything. Shouldn't be, this is the guy's job. You know what I mean?
All right. I can see myself catching all kinds of crap from this, but just imagine that your plane crashes and you get stranded on a desert island with a bunch of men and women. I'm going to go ahead and say equality is going to mean a very different thing then than it does right now as we sit.
All right.
Just saying.
Gentlemen, I want to get back to Randy and kind of focus on Randy while we have the time.
Yeah, let's do it.
So you said you got a Bumble, Randy. Can you pull up your Bumble? You got it on your phone? Are you able to pull that up?
I'm downloading it because I just got a new phone.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
And it's been slow as molasses.
We just want to help you with your profile and help you be able to write a more solid profile. And it's important that you spend time on Bumble every day. You got to spend that little 20, 30 minutes swiping on women. And all right, something that I've had to train myself to do, Randy, is for many years, most of my life, I have a physical type. I have a certain type of woman that I'm really into, that I'm really attracted to. And when I come across women like that, it's hard to weed them out. Well, at first, not now. I'm so used to it now that it's second nature. But you have to have these standards. You have to have these principles, and you can't just let them pass on their looks. Okay, it's you're gonna come across it. You'll come across the woman who has swiped on you, and you've matched with her, so you guys have some initial physical attraction. And you know, something we say on this podcast all the time is everybody wants to be a man till it's time to be one. So you're gonna come across the woman, you're like, man, I'd like to put her face in the pillow, and you start interacting with her. And you're not going to get the kind of interest from her that you should. And until you go through this multiple times and learn this, like TK was saying, the body language, the different subtleties, the things that they say without saying it, then you're gonna run into that over and over again, where women want to waste your time. They're lonely. They want someone to talk to. They're bored, or they need a friend. They need a shoulder to cry on. They need somebody to go hang their Christmas lights. So it's real important that you learn, number one, how to only deal with women on your terms. But to do that, you got to figure out what your terms are. You have to establish a standard. So that's why I'm telling you stuff like you should stay away from women who don't have a job. Like, forget them. Doesn't matter how good they look. They can't go into work every day. They don't deserve a pass to Randy Land. So we have to establish some standards for you. But at the same time, we also have to make you appealing to women who might be potentially interested in you. And you can't fake the funk here. You got to be the guy. Because like Johnny Dumbbell is saying, these women will shit test you. And what happens you start failing their shit test, you start getting mixed signals. So it's kind of like a chain reaction. So like I said, we want to help you out with your profile a little bit if you get that downloaded and we get the chance tonight. So Randy, I'm gonna leave you on the phone, but we're gonna move on a little bit and start talking about overcoming rejection.
Hey, Randy, thanks for calling in, man.
I'm gonna jump off of here. Maybe I'll catch up.
All right, absolutely.
When are you guys back on?
I would like to help you with your profile.
We're back on Thursday night, man. Yeah. So please, I mean, if you got time, call in.
Yeah, if you got time Thursday night, call in. And if you don't, Randy, I think I got you on Facebook too. I could work with you a little bit on some of the stuff that you should have in the profile.
Hey.
When we're not.
Bill, hit me up anytime, bro. Yeah. Hit me up anytime.
But we want to help you out. We want you to be one of our success stories. We want to be able to tell everybody, hey, look at Randy. He is down there. You
guys, every time I listen to you guys, I'm always smiling. So
we want you to learn.
Thank you, brother.
I mean, look, Johnny is one of the YouTube guys that wants you to smile and feel happy about yourself. I'm not.
Flex.
That is not my role on this panel. I'm here to punch you in the chest, show you some tough love, and get your ass on the right track.
Right.
So.
Hey, we'll talk.
All right, Randy.
I'll
thanks, Randy, brother.
We'll catch up.
The call.
Randy, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, guys. Walk on.
Hey, look. I gotta tell you, gentlemen, I respect the hell out of somebody that can call in and say, look, I'm having problems. I need some help. I need some pointers. I need some tips. I don't want to be some dry dick dude for the rest of my life. So shout out to Randy.
Yeah. Thanks again, Randy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, appreciate that. We need to talk about overcoming rejection. And there's so much to talk about when it comes to it. I would start off by letting you guys know rejection is situational, gentlemen, and you can't take it personally.
Johnny, let's hear it, man. Let's hear it. Let's hear a good rejection story, man. Wing one at us. Tell us one, man, that fucking devastated you.
Man, I'll tell you what. So when I was in high school, it was my freshman year. And I thought I was hot shit because this girl who was 16 years old, man, she had the hots for me, okay? And I mean, we're talking like crazy stuff, right? So now, at this stage of my life, I had just had my first kiss maybe a couple of months before. And so what wound up happening is I start like kind of making out with this girl over the course of like the late spring, early summer. It was the summer between 8th and 9th grade. And so we're doing our thing. I go over to her house where we're like, and we're sitting on the couch. We're not just like making out. We're like making out, and she's grabbing me by my shirt, pulling me on top of her, things like that. I mean, dude, at 14 years old, I had no idea what the hell was going on, but I loved it. So this continued through the summer. 2 weeks into school year, she's a junior, I'm a freshman. Now, remember, this is the 90s, so she didn't text me. She handed me a note that was folded in a way that this generation doesn't even know how to do. And the first 2 words were, "Please understand." I just skimmed the rest of the note, but I saw the words "my boyfriend" and made a mistake. And I'm like, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah. Right there. And ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, it's one thing when a girl sends you a rejection text, but this girl took the time to write her rejection on paper with ink because, well, I mean, we didn't have text messaging or even
I was going to say, did you even have text at that time?
We didn't even have email.
Yeah, right on.
Well,
and you know
like
what,
at that time,
that's why I keep telling these guys, man, and everyone, that's why we're a different breed, man, because we didn't grow up with technology and we had to interact with females face to face in order to go out on dates and to do things in high school and stuff. The youth today, man, they don't have to do that. They don't have to interact face to face to meet girls or whatever like we did. So we had to get out there, man, and lace up our boots and get in the fucking trenches. You know what I mean? Jump on a few grenades. You know what I mean? Dodge a couple cannons here and there. It was fucking war. You know?
Which brings me to my next point.
Our fears.
Which brings me to my next point. These guys are getting butthurt and upset over being rejected over text message.
Yeah.
This is not even like you didn't even have to actually take it face to face like we had to. Okay. Let me tell you what it's like to actually grow a pair, walk up to a girl at a school dance because you've been waiting all year to ask her to dance. And she's like, no.
Yeah. Right. Dude, I'll tell you what, you get some humility to you really quick, man. You know,
if you're butthurt by her saying no to you via text, I want you to do something. I want you to take your phone, shut it off, and put it in a drawer until you learn how to talk to people.
Yep. Because hey, look, man, anybody can read a text and be like, oh man, she don't want to go out with me. You know what I mean? But by God, when you ask that female in front of 10 or 20 other people or your classmates, whatever the case, you know what I mean? And she rejects you right there on the spot in front of everybody. That's a whole different story. You learn some humility, man, and you straighten your shit up real quick.
PK, I'm glad you asked Johnny Dumbbell about a rejection story.
I got plenty.
Because I would tell you there is no such thing as rejection. You gotta understand, dog. You gotta think of it. Okay, you know the guy at the mall handing out the bourbon chicken. Okay, if someone doesn't want a piece of bourbon chicken, does he like put the tray down, get in his car, go home, go curl up in his bed? No,
man, dog. F you. I didn't want to give you bourbon chicken anyway, you ugly ass. You know, yeah.
I mean,
he don't care. You know why? Because the next person that walks by will want the bourbon chicken. Dog.
Yeah, but I don't completely agree with that, man, because them not
gentlemen, be the bourbon chicken.
Them not wanting the bourbon chicken isn't personal. You know what I'm saying? So when you ask the girl out and she rejects you, that's personal. That's different.
How is it personal?
Once you're done being rejected, she's not.
Well, it might not be personal to her, but as a man, you take it as a personal affront. You know what I mean? Because obviously she doesn't want something you have to offer if she's rejecting you. So
it's situational and specific, and it's not that you're not valuable; it's that she's not into you. So
it happens,
right?
You know, look, I am not. If a woman, I do this all the time. I don't just pretend to be a man on the internet, dog. I am one in real life. I step to women constantly, and I'm like, "What's up? My name is William. I just want to know if you got anybody in your life that would have a problem if I gave you my phone number." And
yeah,
look,
I mean, And overall, even the best of us only close about 10% of it when it comes to actually getting in there. But
Right.
the thing you got to remember is we're not talking about giving you better results or a higher percentage of what you can pull. We're showing you how to vet out the girls you talk to in the first place.
Thank you,
Listen,
Johnny.
man, hey. Sorry, go ahead.
No, let's keep going. We got a lot to cover, and I talk around in circles. But my point is that how can I be rejected when the next woman that comes along is gonna take the bourbon chicken? So I'm just saying, I don't think go to Rejection's house. Show me where Rejection lives. Let's go knock on his door and shout out to Steve the Dean at the Man Mindset. I heard Steve say something last week that was so profound. He said, anytime you guys are talking about fear or rejection, place that word with Santa Claus. Replace that word with Santa Claus and listen to how ridiculous you sound. So I don't really believe in rejection. I don't think a woman is rejecting me. I think that she is passing on the best opportunity of her life, and she's the one missing out, dog, not me.
The big question that I would have.
Oh, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, the big question that I would have is I think that anybody who's been to a mall in the last 30 years knows what bourbon chicken tastes like. Why are they still giving out free samples? Like, can't they get something else?
Yeah. Hey, I got a good one for you, man. I saw this chick. She was working as a cashier, man, at a food mart, man. It's like a grocery store or something. I forget where exactly it was at. This was like 10 years ago. But, dude, she was the hottest cashier I've ever seen in my life, man. This girl was so gorgeous. But there was something about her,
she
man.
could check you out anytime.
About her, where she moved like a ballerina or like an angel. She was so graceful, dude. But I straight up asked her for a number right there on the line, dude. And she shot me down like a motherfucker, dude. She was like, nah, I don't think so. I was like, all right, whatever. All the little cashier friends were snickering and shit.
Happens sometimes, and you're okay. I stepped to a woman just last week, and the pain on her face, and I'm like, hey, you got anybody in your life that have a problem if I gave you one? Like you were saying, TK, the body language, she was into me. I'm not wasting my time with somebody who can care less if I'm there or not. So I had these the interest that Johnny Dumbbell taught me about back in 2008. So I stepped to her and presented her with the opportunity to put my number on her phone and her face, dog. She's like, oh, I got a boyfriend. I can't.
Well, look, here's the thing, man. Okay. Like I was saying earlier, man. For one, that girl was at work. So I didn't think to myself, she could have been having a bad day. She could have been at the end of her shift, anything, you know what I mean? So next time, later on down the road, I'm going to learn from that mistake and maybe do it differently under different circumstances next time. You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to teach you fellas, is to learn from your mistakes. You know what I mean? I might have got rejected from her, but I won't ever get rejected in that fashion or in that kind of a situation ever again. Not the same one.
At least not in that setting,
get rejected again, but I'll never get rejected like that again. You know what I mean? Right. Because I won't ever put myself in a situation too.
TK, you just hit on something vital. Timing. She could be having a bad day. You could have stepped to her at 10 o'clock in the morning. She just got in a fight with her mom. She's worried about her cat, and here I come along 3 hours later, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The cat's doing a lot better. Her and her mom made up, so I'm going to have a different result from her than you did earlier. But, I mean, of course, I'm going to go about it a different way, too. I ain't asking a woman for her phone number. I'm giving her mine. But my point is that timing is everything, and she could have had some stuff going on when you stepped to her. And I'm glad you learned from that, right? So,
hell yeah, man.
Now, when we're talking about overcoming rejection, there's certain things like I was saying, not to take it personally, that it's situational. You know, we talked briefly about how we had to face our fears. Now, something I think that it's really essential is you can't give up. Okay.
Yeah.
Because look, if you never get rejected, then you're living way too far inside your comfort zone and you're not pushing yourself. You're not growing. You're not trying to get better. So you should be stepping to women and being rejected and learning the process of finding the women that are into you.
Yeah, learn to appreciate the answer being no, because it's the second best answer she can give you besides yes. The worst answer she can give you is, I don't know, call me later this week. Now she's wasting your time.
And I'll tell you what, man, one of my ways to get over rejection, if I've been rejected by a chick, is to get right back in the saddle, man, and go get a yes from another chick. You go and you land a yes from another chick, you know what I mean? You done forgot about the no that you got yesterday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well,
bonus points if it's a friend of a girl who shot you down.
Yeah, then you're fucked.
Not necessarily.
Well, you probably ain't getting too. Well, no. Hey, look, I've had some best friends do some shady ass shit, man, to their best friends, chicks. You know what I mean?
I've had some shitty rejections, but I've had some glorious acceptances.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
So now I think it's important, if we're going to talk about overcoming rejection, I want all the young men that see this to know this. Don't try to change a woman's mind.
No.
Don't try to
Impossible.
sell yourself. Don't beg, bargain, plead. Don't sell your soul to the devil. Don't do any of that, dog.
Then you just come off needy. You just come off needy and pathetic.
Yeah, if she's already on the no side of the fence, there's no point. If she's on top of the fence, maybe. If she's on your side of the fence, that's the best part, you know.
I gotta say, the reason you had to decode the mixed signals, the reason you were the mixed signals in the first place. Women, look, sometimes they're afraid to be honest, okay? So they do things like say, we'll see, or maybe, or I'll have to get back to you. I got to check. I got to do this. They're giving you excuses. So you guys should take that as not interested.
Yep.
You know, you should, I don't want to say take it as a rejection, but you'd be saving yourself a lot of time and some headache if you did. Because I'll think about it for an answer. If I offer a date to a woman and I get a maybe, I just lost interest and I'm good. Because like
I'm going to tell you,
the next one isn't going to tell you maybe. The next one is going to say, yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to tell you right now, the less accessible you make yourself to a female, the more she's going to want you.
Yep. And to my salesman out there, remember, wouldn't you be leery of a salesman who came running up to you and try to throw every offer he could have at you right off the bat? You got to wonder if he's selling you something good for the price that he's offering it for.
That's right.
If you approach a woman that way, why wouldn't she think that? You're trying to throw everything that you want to throw to her right out. You know, you're laying all those cards on the table because you're just too eager to be there. You're too eager to talk to her. You want her to know everything now, and you want to get it out quickly so that she knows what a great guy you are. Listen, that makes you no different than the salesman who's crazy to make a deal with you today.
You're trying to pitch yourself.
That methodology does not work, brother.
Yeah, you're trying to pitch yourself to her, and it don't work like that.
Okay, well, yes and no, TK. You're right. Trying to pitch yourself and sell yourself isn't going to work. But what you should be doing from the very first interaction with her is, and again, shout out to Steve the Dean, man, put your bid in with that woman. So she should know everything you want from her right off the rip, what you're trying to do. full disclosure type shit. Now, I need young men to understand that rejection is something that is completely normal. Man, it happens to everyone. And I mean literally everyone. And I know
more than once.
Especially y'all that are stuck in small ponds like high schools, or like my man was saying, he's in a country town with not a lot of women. When you get rejected, it can feel like a big deal, but you got to remember there's a million reasons why it didn't work, and you really shouldn't take it too personal, because what happens then when you take it personal, you start to focus on personal insecurities of yourself, and that's the wrong mindset to have.
And then you get into a negative energy, a negative funk, man.
Right. Exactly. So stay away from doing that too.
Yep.
Now, I got to say this. I feel like the more mentally strong you are, the less rejection bothers you. Like, rejection hurts to people who are mentally weak. But when you a certain bravado to you, you don't care. I'm telling you, you really don't. And you guys, you put different labels on it. Oh, I know what I'm worth, or self-love, or whatever you need to call it. But it's focus
whatever
on
helps you sleep tonight.
Yeah, focus on your.
Remember that. Yeah, remember the market. The market decides what you're worth. You can't. If you're selling a house, maybe it's worth $500,000 to you, but the market decides what it'll actually be purchased for.
All right, gentlemen, is there anything you guys would like to say tonight about either of our topics, about decoding mixed signals, about overcoming rejection? I'm going to give each of you the screen for a minute. Let's start with you, TK.
I'm a firm believer in what you just said, Bill. I think that if you are mentally strong, or you have confidence, rather, rejection is going to mean so much less to you than it does to the next man who, isn't as confident as you are about himself. So, if it doesn't faze you, man, keep at it, man. If it does faze you, still keep at it, because, you're not going to hone your skills any better by wallowing in a fucking hole, curled up in a ball. So there it is.
Absolutely, TK. They need to come out of that comfort zone and get comfortable with being.
I'll say this, man. Obviously Randy has been doing some self-reflection, fellas, and this is what it might take for you guys to realize that you need to change things up a little bit. You know what I mean? So it goes back to the previous things we were telling you guys. You know what I mean? I'm done.
What do you want to tell everybody about mixed signals and overcoming rejection this evening?
It's hard to unmix a mixture, but when it comes to mixed signals, that's not as hard as it sounds. It's just simply this, gentlemen. No matter how much it hurts that fragile ego of yours, and listen, I had one too, you're going to have to look at what she does, and you're going to have to ask yourself from time to time, does a person who is interested in me do this, or would she do that if she were interested? Now, maybe she does different things for a different reason, but that does not fit your mold. That does not fit what you are looking for in a woman. And if it doesn't, hey, man, if her actions are showing that she doesn't fit into your life, then don't let her be part of your life. It's that simple. You are not required to let her into your life just because she had the kindness to be interested in you. Number two, like TK touched on, take the L's. I want you to start talking to 5 girls, 10 girls that you're attracted to throughout the day. I don't care if you say, hey, this weather sucks. I don't care whether it has anything to do with getting her number or not. Get comfortable with approaching women that you're attracted to, because if not, you're going to end up settling like you always have. Like TK says, you do what you've always done, you get what you always got. It's just that simple. I phrase it differently. I say nothing changes if nothing changes. We've got to change for the better. Doesn't it follow that you do a better job of communicating and getting your name out there? because the more hot girls you talk to, yes, the more no's you're going to get. But you probably will get a lot more yeses if you talk to 100 of them than if you only talk to 25 of them. And I don't mean talk to in a romantic, I just mean, hey, man, get yourself out there. Let them know you have a voice. And for the love of God, let them know you have a personality. It can take you a lot farther than you think.
All right. Well, I want to say this before we wrap this up tonight when it comes to decoding mixed signals and overcoming rejection. I think that once you guys learn how to properly vet the women that you allow into your life, you will be forcing situations. And I use that word lightly, but you have to, you're wasting your time. You need to find out whether you're wasting your time or not, gentlemen. And to do that, you can't beat around the bush. To do that, you owe it to yourself to find out as quickly as possible if she is really into you or not. So you're going to have to put her through the ringer. You're going to have to put her through some tests. And if she fails those tests, you need to get rid of her. And it's not really a rejection at all. She's doing you a favor because you guys weren't compatible to begin with. And that's what you guys should be looking for. You guys should be looking for women that you're compatible with. And until you start doing that, y'all are just chasing the cat. So don't worry about the mixed signals. Learn a vetting process. Get rid of the women out of your life who aren't doing what you need them to do, and focus more on yourselves, gentlemen.
Not to mention, keep watching us and get the answers to questions.
Hey, and anybody watching, do us a favor, show us some love, subscribe to our YouTube channels. Johnny and TK are getting close to being able to go live on their channels, and I'm about to hit 200 subscribers myself. So we all keep growing in leaps and bounds, and just want to be able to get our message out to more people. So we appreciate everybody for watching. We'll be back Thursday night where we're breaking down some dating profiles, and hopefully we'll have Randy too. We can help him a little bit with his dating profile, because I want to see all you guys out there winning. I want to see all y'all get the girl. I want to see every one of you do better. All right, we're the Three Wise Men, and we're out. Thanks for watching.
Peace. Peace. Turkey bacon grease.